So yesterday on February 29th, which is Superman's official birthday in comic book canon, we got the first look at the Superman suit for just Superman now. It's not called Superman Legacy anymore, the film's just called Superman, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but kind of just wanted to do a video talking about the crest, how cool it is, talking about the title change, just kind of talking about how exciting this is in general. Not scripted, this video is kind of just might be quick, might be long, I don't know, it depends how long I could talk for on all of this sort of stuff, but it was really exciting seeing that suit reveal. I was 100% expecting we were going to get it yesterday. I remember when I went on Twitter yesterday, already knowing it was the character's birthday, saw some people say that it was likely we'd get the suit reveal yesterday because, yeah, they started filming yesterday, and I've kind of been constantly saying, like, we're going to get the suit reveal either right when they start filming or right before they start filming, because they are not going to want to risk this suit getting leaked at all. And there's a little bit of kind of confusion on what exactly they're filming first or where they're filming first, because we know that they're going to be filming a little bit in Norway, they're going to be mostly filming in Ohio, and they're filming a little bit in Atlanta on actual sets, so like indoors and stuff like that. And apparently they've started filming in Atlanta first, and they're doing the kind of the sets indoors and all that sort of stuff first, which is interesting because in this suit reveal we can see snow, and we know they're going to Norway to film what'll probably be Fortress of Solitude scenes, so we're getting some snow stuff already. It's also really interesting that they put the snow on the suit reveal. Like, does that really kind of imply that a lot of the Fortress of Solitude sequences or a lot of the more Krypton-esque parts of the film are going to be extremely important to the character? We know that Gunn has described the film as being very much about Clark's or Cal's sort of struggle between his human heritage and his Kryptonian heritage and kind of balancing the two, which is really cool. It's something we don't really get a lot of in Superman projects. Like Smallville did this really well, where they kind of handled Clark growing up trying to just be human and then eventually trying to run away from his Kryptonian heritage before in the later seasons coming to adopt that Kryptonian heritage pretty heavily. So it'll be cool to see kind of a Superman where he's not really running from either, he's trying to balance both from the get-go, which will be really cool to see. In general, I wonder, like, does this imply that the first scene they're filming is like when Clark gets the suit from the Fortress of Solitude right before he becomes Superman? I know that this is supposed to be a year in for Superman as a character, but are we going to get flashbacks into seeing him get the suit, seeing him training at the Fortress, something like that? Personally, I don't know if I would prefer to see that. I think it would be really cool to just kind of start straight in, like start a year in. We don't really see any flashbacks to him starting out training, Krypton being destroyed, any of that. We just kind of start in and then maybe get some dialogue sequences that kind of explain what's been going on. I think that would be really cool. But just in general, I am a really big fan of this suit. I do the Pipeline podcast over on Darren's channel every Thursday night. We were actually live yesterday when the suit came out, so if you want to see my live reaction to the suit, go and check out last night's podcast. But in general, I'm a big fan of this suit. The texture, it definitely it looks a little Man of Steel-y from a distance, but I honestly think that's more so the lighting making it look like that. I think when you look at the more darker areas of this suit, it stands out from the Man of Steel costume in a very big way. Whereas when you've got that like light directly shining on it, it kind of looks like it, but I think that might be just a problem with the lighting itself. In general, this is actually a lot what I thought it was going to be, like, suit-wise, because I made the video last week when we got the first kind of initial crest reveal from the table read about how it probably would be similar to the Kingdom Come logo, but they wouldn't go with black and white or black and red. They would probably go with the yellow-red look with brighter colors, and I was hoping, I kind of thought maybe because a lot of the early leaks we were seeing, like from a year ago, when they're like, the costume's probably going to look a little bit like this, and we see kind of art designs of what people are saying Gunn wants the costume to look like, and we saw like the gold outline from the Flesher 1940 Superman costume. That is what I really wanted to see, and I said this in my video last week as well, where I was like, I would love for them to go with kind of a hybrid of a classic look and something a little bit more modern, and this seems to be exactly that, a very Alex Ross inspired Kingdom Come crest, but then with this sort of Flesher classic looks around it that kind of sort of gives off this retro feel in some ways while still having this futuristic feel to it. And the blue looks a lot brighter than we're used to on modern day Superman suits, which I'm happy about as well, because that was one of my big complaints, is that I think current superhero costumes in general are a little bit too dark, the colors are a little bit too muted, and I was really hoping that this would be bright and colorful. One thing I really wanted of the DCEU is to really make these costumes bright, make these costumes pop. Like you want these guys to just look crazy bright from far away, is kind of how I would envision it, and it feels like they're kind of going for that. Now, I will say the yellow and red could be a little bit brighter. It's just nitpicky, but you know, they're going to do color grading on this, they're going to do post-production on this. This was taken on an iPhone, so this isn't even like this is, you know, a proper black magic camera or something like that taking the picture on a legitimate set. This is like James Gunn's iPhone, taking it just really up close, maybe shining a little bit of a light on it to give it that pop at the side. So it's going to look different when we see the actual thing. And I'm going to assume that they're not going to make it darker in post-production. I would assume that they would make it brighter. So this could genuinely be a perfect Superman suit. Because 3 of my favorite Superman suits are the Crisis and Infinite Earths Brown and Routh look at the very end of Crisis with the yellow and the red on the crest. The Flesher look for the character, the very classic look, kind of reminiscent of Superman Smashes the Klan as well. And then the traditional Kingdom Come costume. Those are 3 of my favorite costumes for Superman. And it really feels like they're drawing from all 3 of them in little subtle ways. So I'm really excited to see the full suit reveal. I am surprised that they didn't start with a full suit reveal, because I feel like personally, now this is just how I would interpret this, if they're just showing kind of a crest reveal now, they're probably going to hold off on a full suit reveal for a while. If they were going to give us a suit reveal within the next week, like a full suit reveal, I would assume that they would have just done it all at once rather than doing just 2 separately. Maybe it's for marketing to hype up, just give us something small on Superman's birthday, and then when they have like a week filming done, they can get a legitimate still and color grade it, make it pop a little bit more, and then upload that properly maybe next week, which, sure, okay. But I don't know, just my gut is telling me they would have done it all at once, that they would have held off on giving us the crest with the rest of the suit if they were planning on giving us a suit reveal very soon. So I'm curious as to why that is, because this kind of still makes, like, I'm glad we're not going to have the crest leaked, like we got that out of the way before any leakers could get that to us, but I'm a little worried if they're not going to do a full suit reveal this quick, are we going to have that spoiled through leaks? Like, are we going to, a week or 2 from now, when they're done shooting the sets stuff, if they move to Ohio or they move to Norway, if they're doing some outdoor stuff, if we see this kind of leak online, which that would be kind of frustrating to have that ruin through a leak. But anyway, I'm just really glad we got this in general. But another thing we found out, the film is no longer called Superman Legacy, it's just called Superman. And people are saying like, oh, people are going to get confused with the 1978 Superman. That film's actually not called Superman, that film's called Superman the movie. I know it's very kind of technical and nitpicky, and I completely understand people who just are like, well, no, there's 2 Superman films. But the 1978 Superman film is called Superman the movie, so there's kind of a little wiggle room there where this is technically the first film to just be called Superman. Now, obviously, there have been other stuff, like there's a 1948 serial just called Superman, there's unofficial adaptations from other places, but in terms of fully theatrically released Superman films, there's only one called Superman now, I guess, and that's the 2025 one. Wikipedia does say that Superman is the name of the 1978 film, but like, you find any poster for that film, it says Superman the movie on it. The only reason I kind of know this much about it is because I actually did my dissertation in my final year of college last year on Superman in film, and a lot of that required tons of reading on Superman 1978, on just Man of Steel, on all of the history of Superman in film and television. And I kind of, in that dissertation, I always call the film Superman the movie because that's the official name for it. In some countries it may be just called Superman 1978, but in general the official title for it that was first on all the posters, on when it was released, all that sort of stuff, is Superman the movie. So James Gunn surprisingly has the honor, I guess, of directing, writing the very first Superman film that is just called Superman. It's insane that in 86 years of the character's history, we have yet to have had just a Superman named film that is theatrically released on a feature film. So that's pretty cool. But I mean, I'm okay with the name change. I definitely got used to saying Legacy the last few years. Like I ended up at a point where I was just saying Legacy to refer to the film rather than saying Superman Legacy. But personally, I think Legacy sort of, it implies a lot of things about your character and about your history already. Legacy is a very unusual name for the first film in your DC universe. I know Creature Commandos is the first project, but Superman now is the first film. So to have that be Superman Legacy sort of implies that there's a lot coming before the film, a lot of, not baggage, but there's a lot of extra stuff there. Like Legacy kind of implies that you're building on history here, which out of context, like out of universe, yes, that's the case. This film seems to be about the legacy of Superman as a character, because we obviously are filming in Ohio, the birthplace of the character. We start filming on the character's birthday, the first film called Superman. Like, there's a lot of stuff there that's really digging into the history of the character and building on that legacy. But for people who don't know a lot of this extra stuff, like we're super fans, so we know this sort of stuff. But for just a general audience, what's the legacy there for them? There's no reason for them to think there's a legacy. They're just gonna think this is a new Superman film. And James Gunn said that when he originally started the script, he called it Superman Legacy, but once he finished the script, it was clear to him that it was just called Superman, that it was no longer called Superman Legacy. And I really like that. It shows that he kind of maybe sees this as a beginning for a character, for a universe, that Legacy maybe comes later, like your third, fourth Superman film in this universe. Go ahead, call that Legacy. But for now, Superman is the name, and I'm really happy with that. This is just really, really, really exciting. I think it's a really fun time to be a Superman fan. It's a really fun era because, like, Superman Returns, Man of Steel, they had their own stuff, but there's something special about this. I can't wait to see this. I think this is going to be just a really exciting. Now, obviously, this film could end up being terrible. If this film could be great, and if it underperforms, that's it. The DCU is over before it starts. Which we're still working on a video on kind of the DCU in general that I want to talk about all that sort of stuff about how dangerous this could be for Warner Brothers if this doesn't work. What if the films are bad, all that sort of stuff, but also talk about the hype in that video. But yeah, it's just exciting. New crest, looks great. How are you feeling about the crest? Do you think it's good? How are you feeling about the title change? Do you prefer Superman Legacy? Do you prefer just being Superman? And what are your thoughts on going into the film in general in the DCU? And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe and all of that. And I hope you have a great day.